Dear chosen one, if you are watching this video right now, know that this is not a coincidence. You weren't led here by chance. It is God who has brought you to this very moment, to this message, because an urgent prophecy is about to unfold, and it is meant for you. Receive this energy and divine prophecy by liking and subscribing to the channel, and don't forget to write your heartfelt prayers or wishes to God in the comment section below. Beloved, I want you to understand something deep in your spirit. Obedience is one of the most powerful currencies in the kingdom of God. It is not always easy, it is not always glamorous, and oftentimes it does not even make sense in the natural. Yet, obedience is the language of trust. When you obey, you are declaring to heaven that you trust God more than your own understanding, more than the opinions of others, more than the evidence of your circumstances. And beloved, your obedience has not gone unnoticed. Heaven has recorded your yes. Every time you said yes when your flesh wanted to say no, every time you submitted when pride told you to resist, every time you gave when it seemed you had little, every time you forgave when you wanted revenge, those moments did not disappear into thin air. They became keys. And those keys have unlocked something that no man, no system, and no enemy can shut. Think about Abraham. When God told him to leave his land, his family, and everything familiar, he did not argue or delay. He obeyed. And that obedience became the seed that unlocked nations, blessings, and generations of promise. When Noah was told to build an ark in the middle of dry land, he obeyed. Though mocked and ridiculed, he trusted the voice of God above the voice of man. That obedience became the doorway to salvation for his family. When Mary was told that she would carry the Son of God, she responded, "Be it unto me according to your word." Her obedience unlocked the greatest gift the world has ever known. Beloved, I want you to see yourself in their stories. Your obedience, even in the small things, has placed you in divine alignment. What you thought was insignificant has been mighty in the spirit. The sacrifices you made quietly, the decisions no one applauded, the prayers no one heard, all of it was noticed by the one who matters most. You may have wondered why God asks certain things of you. Perhaps He asked you to walk away from relationships that felt comfortable. Maybe He asked you to sow into someone's life when you yourself had needs. Maybe He asked you to forgive someone who never even apologized. Or perhaps He asked you to step out in faith into an assignment that terrified you. Whatever it was, you obeyed. And your obedience has become the seed for a harvest that cannot be canceled. There is a door before you now, not a physical door, but a spiritual one. This door is opportunity, favor, breakthrough, and divine acceleration. This door is the next chapter of your life that will carry you into places you once only dreamed of. And here is the truth, man cannot shut it. They may try, but they cannot. They may oppose you, but they cannot stop what God has decreed. For the word of God in Revelation 3:8 declares, "See, I have placed before you an open door that no one can shut. I know that you have little strength, yet you have kept my word and have not denied my name." Beloved, the very fact that you obeyed when you felt weak, when you felt tired, when you felt overlooked, that is why the door is open now. God does not reward perfection, He rewards obedience. He is not asking you to have it all figured out, He is asking you to trust Him enough to step where He leads. And because you trusted, you are about to see the fruit of that trust manifest in ways you could not imagine. But let me tell you something important, when God opens a door, it often does not look like what we expect. Sometimes it comes disguised as work. Sometimes it comes wrapped in challenges. Sometimes it looks like a risk that requires faith. That is why discernment is so important in this season. Do not dismiss what God is opening simply because it looks small, unusual, or intimidating. Remember, David's door to kingship came disguised as a battle with Goliath. Joseph's door to the palace came disguised as a prison. Esther's door to destiny came disguised as a threat against her people. The open door may not look glamorous at first, but it carries glory within it. Beloved, I feel this deeply in my spirit. You are about to walk into a door that will change everything. What once was delayed will now move swiftly. Where there was resistance, there will now be release. Where there was silence, there will now be songs of victory. This is not man's doing, this is God's decree. And when God decrees a thing, it must come to pass, so do not fear the voices of doubt. Do not be shaken by those who cannot see what God is doing in you. Do not waste time trying to convince anyone of your calling or your blessing. Walk through the door boldly, knowing that heaven's backing is behind you. And remember this, obedience is not a one-time act. It is a lifestyle. The same God who honored your yes before will continue to honor every yes you give him moving forward. Keep listening. Keep obeying. Keep trusting. For every step of obedience unlocks another dimension of destiny. Beloved, you have unlocked the door, now get ready to walk through it. And as you do, know this, you are not walking alone. Angels are assigned to you. Favor is waiting for you. Provision has already been prepared for you. And God himself goes before you, making crooked paths straight. Beloved, now that you know the door has been unlocked through your obedience, it's time to understand what walking through it truly means. You see, God's open doors are not just opportunities for personal gain, they are assignments. Every door he opens carries both blessing and responsibility. It is not simply about where you are going, it is about who you will impact once you get there. Think of Joseph again. The door God opened for him was not only about being second in command in Egypt. It was about saving nations from famine, preserving his family, and fulfilling a prophecy spoken generations earlier. When Esther walked through her door, it wasn't just about becoming queen. It was about positioning herself to intercede for her people and prevent their destruction. And when Peter walked through the door of bold obedience on the day of Pentecost, it wasn't just about him preaching a sermon. It was about 3,000 souls being added to the kingdom in a single day. Beloved, this open door before you is bigger than you. Yes, it will bless you. Yes, it will elevate you. Yes, it will restore what was lost. But above all, it will glorify God and expand his kingdom. That is why no man can shut it. Because it is not your door, it is his. And what he opens, he protects. You may wonder, but why now? Why not earlier? The answer is simple, timing. God has a perfect timing for everything. If the door had opened earlier, you might not have been prepared. You may have mishandled the blessing, or lacked the character to sustain the responsibility. But through every delay, every detour, and every disappointment, God was shaping you, pruning you, and equipping you for this exact moment. Beloved, do you remember those times when you felt like God was silent? Those nights when your prayers seemed unanswered? Those seasons when it looked like everyone else was moving forward while you were stuck in place? Those were not wasted seasons. They were seasons of preparation. God was fortifying your spirit, teaching you patience, building endurance, and sharpening your discernment. Because the higher the door, the greater the preparation required to walk through it. And now, you are ready. But let me warn you, beloved, when God opens a door, the enemy often tries to distract you so you don't step through it. He knows he cannot shut it, so he tries to fill you with fear, doubt, or confusion. He whispers lies, you're not worthy. You'll fail if you try. This is too risky. Or he uses people around you to discourage you, to tell you you're overreaching, that you should be content with less. But hear me, those voices are not from God. They are designed to paralyze you at the threshold. Do not allow fear to keep you standing outside of what God has opened. Do not allow self-doubt to hold you hostage at the door. The same God who unlocked it is the same God who will carry you through it. When Israel stood at the edge of the Red Sea, the door to their freedom was open, but fear tried to push them back. When Joshua stood at the walls of Jericho, the door to victory was open, but it required obedience and courage to walk in. When Peter stepped out of the boat to walk on water, the door to the miraculous was open, but doubt almost sank him. Beloved, you must choose to step boldly. This is not the season for hesitation. This is the season for courage. And remember, walking through God's door often requires leaving other doors behind. You cannot cling to the old while entering the new. Some friendships may not fit in this next chapter. Some habits cannot cross into this dimension. Some mindsets must be shed at the threshold. The door is open, but it is narrow. You cannot carry baggage through it. Release what must be released, and step through freely. Beloved, I see this so clearly for you. Your obedience has brought you to the threshold, but your faith will carry you through. The two work hand in hand. Obedience opens the door, faith walks through it. And once you cross, you will see that everything you endured was worth it. The tears, the battles, the sacrifices, they were all preparing you for this very moment. The Lord says in Isaiah 22:22, I will place on his shoulder the key to the house of David. What he opens no one can shut, and what he shuts no one can open. This is your assurance. You do not have to beg for the door to stay open. You do not have to fight to keep it from closing. It is sealed by God's authority. No enemy, no circumstance, no human being can undo what God has decreed. So lift your head, beloved. Straighten your shoulders. Walk with confidence. This is not arrogance, this is holy boldness. For the one who called you is faithful, and he has already gone ahead of you to prepare the way. As you walk through this door, do not forget gratitude. Gratitude will keep your heart tender. Gratitude will remind you of how far you've come. Gratitude will keep you grounded, even as God elevates you. Each step you take, whisper a thank you. Each blessing you receive, lift up praise. For gratitude is the posture that sustains breakthrough. Beloved, let me leave you with this image. You are standing at the edge of a new beginning. Behind you is a hallway of closed doors, representing every season of struggle, delay, and disappointment. But before you stands a single door, wide open, radiating with light, beckoning you forward. This is the door your obedience unlocked. And once you step through, everything will change, so do not hesitate. Do not look back. Do not fear. Step through boldly, for God Himself has ordained it. Beloved, as you take steps through this open door, I need you to understand something critical. The door is not the destination, it is the beginning of a new journey. Many people think once God opens a door, everything will be effortless. They imagine smooth paths, constant ease, and instant success. But chosen ones know the truth. God's open doors often lead to new levels of responsibility, new challenges, and new opportunities for growth. When the children of Israel walked through the parted Red Sea, they did not immediately enter the promised land. They entered a wilderness that would prepare them for the inheritance. When David was anointed king, the door was open, but he still had to face Goliath, endure Saul's persecution, and learn to lead with humility. And when Paul encountered Jesus on the road to Damascus, the door to his apostleship swung wide, but it came with trials, persecution, and the weight of carrying the gospel to the nations. Beloved, do not confuse the open door with the finish line. It is not the conclusion, it is the divine beginning of your next chapter. The very obedience that unlocked the door must now become the obedience that guides you through it. You see, there are levels to obedience. First, there is the obedience that trusts God when it makes no sense. This is what brought you here. You obeyed when others mocked you. You obeyed when your flesh wanted to quit. You obeyed when the outcome was uncertain. And God rewarded that faithfulness. But now, a higher level of obedience is required. This is the obedience that aligns with destiny. It requires consistency, humility, and an ear tuned to the Spirit. Beloved, I must tell you this truth. The enemy often intensifies his attacks the moment you step through the door. Not because the door isn't real, but because he sees what you are about to access. He knows the influence you are about to carry. He knows the lives you are about to touch. He knows the breakthrough that will ripple from your obedience. And so he tries to discourage you right at the threshold. But hear me, if the enemy is fighting you harder now than ever, it is proof you are in the right place. Opposition confirms opportunity. Resistance reveals breakthrough. Pressure is evidence that what is inside of you is powerful enough to threaten the kingdom of darkness. So do not be alarmed by the struggle. It is a sign that you are on the right path. This is where discernment becomes crucial. Not every opportunity behind the door is meant for you. Not every voice cheering for you has your best interest at heart. Not every connection is divine. You must move with wisdom, guided by the Spirit, so you do not confuse counterfeit doors with the one God has ordained. Beloved, the Lord is saying, stay close to me in this season. Do not rush ahead of my instruction. Do not be distracted by applause. Do not be seduced by temporary gain. Keep your eyes on me, and I will show you which way to go. Think of Joshua when he entered the promised land. The door was open, but he still had to seek God before every battle. At Jericho, God gave him an unusual strategy, to march around the walls in silence. At Ai, he exposed hidden sin in the camp before allowing victory. Without constant guidance, Joshua would have failed even though the door was open. Beloved, the same applies to you. You cannot lean on yesterday's instructions to navigate today's season. Fresh doors require fresh revelation. The manna that fed Israel yesterday could not sustain them today. They had to gather daily. Likewise, you must seek God daily for guidance. Your obedience is not a one-time act, it is a continual posture. But oh, the rewards of this posture. Behind this door, you will see provision flow like never before. Resources that once seemed impossible will suddenly align. People you never imagined meeting will cross your path. Opportunities you prayed for in silence will now knock on your door. Why? Because obedience attracts favor. And favor, beloved, is what positions you in rooms where human effort alone could never carry you. I see this for you. Where others have to strive and struggle, you will glide by grace. Where others have to manipulate and scheme, you will simply obey and see doors swing open. Not because of who you are, but because of who God is, and because He rewards those who diligently seek Him. Beloved, let me also tell you this, behind the open door, acceleration is your portion. What took years in the past will happen in months. What felt delayed will suddenly be expedited. God is redeeming time for you. Joel 2:25 declares, I will restore to you the years that the locust has eaten. Those wasted years are not lost. God is folding time in your favor. You will look back and wonder how so much unfolded so quickly, and it will be because obedience unlocked acceleration. But do not forget, acceleration requires alignment. If a train is moving fast, but it is on the wrong track, disaster awaits. But if it is on the right track, speed becomes an advantage. Beloved, God is about to accelerate you, but you must remain on the track of His will. That is why obedience is not optional. It is essential. I want you to pause and reflect. How many times has God asked you to do something simple, and your obedience to that simple instruction unlocked something extraordinary? Perhaps He told you to forgive someone, and that forgiveness freed your heart to receive blessing. Perhaps He told you to sow a seed, and that seed returned multiplied. Perhaps He told you to walk away from a relationship, and that act preserved your destiny. Beloved, simple obedience often carries supernatural impact. This is the season to obey quickly, without delay. To respond to God's voice immediately. Because the quicker you obey, the quicker you step into what has been promised. Delay in obedience often delays blessing. But prompt obedience aligns you with the flow of heaven. Beloved, I sense the Spirit saying this, you have passed the test of waiting, now you must pass the test of walking. Waiting required patience, walking requires courage. Waiting required trust, walking requires boldness. Waiting refined your character, walking will reveal your faith. You are not at the end of the story, you are at the unfolding of a new one. And the author of your destiny is guiding every step, so walk boldly. Walk humbly. Walk faithfully. For the door is open, and what is waiting for you on the other side is greater than anything you can imagine. Beloved, now that you have stepped through the open door, it is time to talk about the transformation that takes place on the other side. You see, God never opens a door for you to remain the same. Every new season requires a new version of you. The same habits, the same mindset, and the same patterns that carried you through the last season cannot sustain you in this one. God is calling you higher. When Joseph moved from the prison to the palace, he could not carry a prisoner's mindset into Pharaoh's courts. He had to stand with wisdom, speak with authority, and carry the dignity of the office God had given him. When Esther stepped through the door into the royal palace, she could not behave as she once did in obscurity. She had to walk in grace, carry discernment, and move in courage to save her people. And when Peter stepped through the door of Pentecost, he could not remain the same fearful fisherman. He became a bold apostle, declaring the gospel with power. Beloved, God is transforming you in this season. You have walked through the door, but now He is reshaping you into the person who can handle what lies on the other side. This is why you feel stretched. This is why you feel uncomfortable. This is why God is confronting areas of your heart you thought were settled. It is not punishment, it is preparation. You cannot pour new wine into old wineskins. That is what Jesus said in Matthew 9:17. If you try to hold new blessings with old patterns, the container will burst. God is protecting your promise by reshaping your vessel. He is making sure your character can hold the weight of the favor coming your way. He is refining your motives so that when promotion arrives, pride will not destroy you. He is teaching you humility, stewardship, and compassion so that the blessing will not only bless you but also overflow to others. Beloved, your obedience did not just unlock the door, it invited transformation. And transformation is not always comfortable, but it is always necessary. Think of a butterfly. Before it emerges in beauty, it must endure the cocoon. Inside the cocoon, the caterpillar is literally broken down and restructured into something new. It is dark, confined, and painful, but without the transformation, flight would be impossible. Beloved, you are in your cocoon moment. The door opened, and now God is completing the work inside of you so that you can soar. And let me tell you this, the very people who doubted you in the past will not even recognize you in this new season. They saw the caterpillar, but they will encounter the butterfly. They saw the servant, but they will meet the ruler. They saw the rejected, but they will witness the chosen. This is the glory of God, to take what was overlooked and transform it into what cannot be ignored. Beloved, transformation requires surrender. You must be willing to let go of who you were so you can embrace who God is calling you to become. This means letting go of bitterness, even when you feel justified. It means releasing fear, even when it feels safe to hold on to it. It means walking away from relationships, environments, and mindsets that no longer serve your destiny. Do not mourn what God is asking you to release. If it is leaving, it is because it cannot go where you are going. If it is shifting, it is because God is aligning you with something better. If it feels heavy, it is because you are carrying something that is not meant for this season. Beloved, lay it down. Let it go. Trust that what God has for you is always greater than what He takes away. But let us go deeper. Transformation is not only about what God is removing, it is about what He is imparting. He is placing new strength in you. He is giving you fresh vision. He is pouring out wisdom and discernment. He is filling you with divine creativity, ideas, and solutions that will set you apart. He is increasing your capacity so you can hold more of His glory. Beloved, the mantle you are carrying now is heavier than before. That is why you feel the pressure. That is why you sense the weight. But God is enlarging your shoulders. He is making you stronger so you can steward what He is entrusting to you. Do not despise the stretching. It is making you fit for greater. And let me assure you of this, the transformation you are undergoing is not just for you. It is for the lives connected to you. Your obedience will ripple into your family, your community, and even generations to come. Just as Abraham's obedience blessed countless descendants, your obedience is shaping legacies. Beloved, you are carrying more than yourself, you are carrying nations inside of you. That is why the warfare has been so intense. The enemy is not only fighting you, he is fighting the generations that will spring from your obedience. He is terrified of the impact you are about to release. But beloved, the very fact that you are still standing proves he has already lost. This is why you must guard your transformation with vigilance. Protect your prayer life. Protect your intimacy with God. Protect your peace. Do not allow distractions to derail you. Do not let comparison steal your joy. Do not let criticism silence your voice. You are being shaped by the hand of the potter, and when he is finished, you will reflect his glory in ways you cannot yet imagine. Beloved, I want you to envision this, you standing on the other side of this transformation, radiant, bold, unshakable. You walking in rooms you once only dreamed of, not by chance, but by divine appointment. You carrying authority that silences opposition, because heaven itself endorses you. You moving with a confidence that is not rooted in pride but in identity, knowing you are chosen, set apart, and equipped. This is who you are becoming. This is who God is shaping you into. And when others see it, they will have no choice but to acknowledge that it was God. That is the point of the transformation, not for your glory, but for His. So that when you walk through the open door and flourish, the testimony will not be "look what they did" but "look what the Lord has done." Beloved, embrace this process. Do not resist it. Trust it, even when it feels uncomfortable. Because on the other side of transformation is elevation. On the other side of surrender is fulfillment. On the other side of this refining fire is a testimony so powerful that even your enemies will have to bow their heads in silence. Yes, beloved, you are being transformed. And the world has not yet seen the fullness of who you are becoming. But soon, very soon, the unveiling will happen, and all will know that the Lord has been with you. Beloved, now that you are embracing transformation, it is time to prepare for manifestation. Because what God has unlocked through your obedience is not only spiritual, it is tangible. The promises you prayed for, the visions you carried in your heart, the words spoken over your life, they are coming into view. You are about to see with your eyes what you once only believed in your spirit. Remember Habakkuk 2:3, "For the revelation awaits an appointed time, it speaks of the end and will not prove false. Though it lingers, wait for it, it will certainly come and will not delay." Beloved, this is that time. What once lingered is now arriving. What seemed delayed is about to manifest. Think back to Abraham. For years, he carried the promise of a son. Decades passed, and still he waited. But at the appointed time, Sarah conceived, and Isaac was born. The promise manifested. Think of Hannah, who wept bitterly in the temple for a child. Year after year, she was provoked and ridiculed. But when the time came, Samuel was born, and he became a prophet who anointed kings. The promise manifested. Think of Simeon, who was promised he would see the Messiah before he died. He waited patiently, and one day, he held baby Jesus in his arms. The promise manifested. Beloved, manifestation is coming to your life. The prayers you whispered in secret are about to produce visible fruit. The sacrifices no one else saw are about to yield undeniable reward. The tears you shed in silence are about to water a harvest so abundant that even your enemies will marvel. And when it happens, you will not have to announce it. You will not have to prove yourself. The manifestation itself will speak for you. The blessing will testify. The breakthrough will declare. The miracle will silence every doubter. Just as Psalm 23:5 says, "You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies, you anoint my head with oil, my cup overflows." Beloved, God is about to seat you at a table that no man can deny. But let me prepare your heart. Manifestation brings visibility, and visibility brings both favor and opposition. Not everyone will celebrate when your promise comes forth. Some will envy. Some will question. Some will attempt to discredit what God has done. But remember this, you don't need their validation. Your manifestation is God's endorsement. When Nehemiah rebuilt the walls of Jerusalem, the manifestation was evident. The walls stood tall, complete in just 52 days. His enemies mocked him, ridiculed him, and tried to sabotage the work. But once the walls were finished, they could not deny that the hand of God was upon him. Beloved, your manifestation will carry the same power. It will silence the critics, not because you argued, but because the evidence of God's goodness will be undeniable. This is why you must guard your heart during manifestation. Do not allow pride to creep in. Do not allow bitterness to return. Stay anchored in humility and gratitude. Remember that the promise came not by your strength, but by God's faithfulness. Keep your eyes on Him, and He will keep your steps steady. Beloved, manifestation is also multiplication. What God is releasing into your life will not stop with one blessing. It will ripple and expand. Just as Isaac sowed in famine and reaped 100-fold in the same year, your manifestation will multiply beyond expectation. Just as the widow's oil kept flowing until every jar was filled, your breakthrough will pour out until every area of your life is touched. But here is the key, manifestation is always tied to stewardship. When God places the blessing in your hands, how you handle it determines the fullness of what comes next. This is why He prepared you through obedience, refined you through transformation, and now positions you for manifestation. You are ready to carry the weight of what is being released. Beloved, can you sense it? The shift is happening. Doors are opening. Favor is locating you. Opportunities are aligning. Healing is flowing. Provision is multiplying. Relationships are being restored. Dreams are being revived. Promises are being fulfilled. Heaven is pouring out into your reality, and no power of darkness can stop it. But don't forget, manifestation is not just for your benefit. It is a testimony to others. God is using your life as a living witness of His power. Your breakthrough will inspire faith in those who doubt it. Your miracle will encourage those who are weary. Your story will become a prophecy for others, showing them that if God did it for you, He can do it for them too. Beloved, I see you stepping into rooms you once thought were beyond your reach. I see doors opening in places you were previously denied. I see resources flowing into your hands for assignments bigger than yourself. I see restoration happening in your family, healing in your body, and clarity in your mind. This is not wishful thinking, this is divine manifestation. The Lord is saying to you even now, I am bringing forth what I promised. I am making visible what was hidden. I am turning faith into sight. So, beloved, position yourself in expectation. Do not shrink back. Do not let unbelief rob you of this moment. Align your words with faith, your heart with gratitude, and your hands with readiness. Because when the promise arrives, it will not come in small measure. It will come pressed down, shaken together, and running over. And when it does, lift your hands and give glory to God. For He is the one who kept you, refined you, and now rewards you openly. This is the season where heaven touches earth in your life. This is the moment where the invisible becomes visible. This is the time of manifestation. Beloved, rejoice. The wait was not in vain. The struggle was not wasted. The promise is here, and it is unfolding before your very eyes. Beloved, as we come to the close of this divine word, let us pause and look back for a moment. From obedience to the open door, through transformation, and now into manifestation, your journey has been nothing short of miraculous. But I must remind you, this is not the end. This is the beginning of a greater unfolding. For every door God opens leads not only to blessing but to deeper assignments, higher callings, and greater displays of His glory through your life. Beloved, manifestation is never the final destination, it is a platform for purpose. God is not simply blessing you for your comfort, He is positioning you for kingdom impact. The miracle He is releasing in your life is not just about you, it is about the many lives connected to you. Your story will feed the faith of others. Your breakthrough will unlock hope for the hopeless. Your testimony will birth courage in those who are standing on the edge of giving up. Let us look at David. When he was anointed as king, it was not merely for him to sit on a throne. It was so Israel would have a leader after God's own heart. When Solomon was blessed with wisdom, it was not only for his personal benefit but to govern a nation with justice and peace. When Jesus multiplied the loaves and fish, it was not only to feed the hungry but to reveal the power of heaven to all who watched. Beloved, your blessing is an assignment. Your breakthrough is a ministry, and here lies a holy responsibility. When God opens doors, blesses you publicly, and manifests His promises, He also calls you to steward it well. Stewardship means using what God has given you in a way that honors Him, blesses others, and expands the kingdom. It means generosity when it would be easier to withhold. It means humility when the world expects arrogance. It means walking in integrity when others compromise. Beloved, the enemy will try to tempt you to misuse the blessing. He will whisper that the miracle is for your glory, not God's. He will try to lure you into pride, greed, or distraction. But guard your heart. Remember, every good and perfect gift comes from above, James 1:17. The same God who gave it to you is the same God who will sustain it, so long as you remain aligned with Him. Do not forget where He brought you from. Do not forget the nights you cried, the seasons you struggled, the battles you endured. Do not forget how His hand carried you through storms, how His voice comforted you in silence, how His grace covered your weakness. Gratitude must always be your response. For it is gratitude that keeps your heart tender and your spirit humble. Beloved, this is also the season to use your voice. No longer will you hide in the shadows of fear or insecurity. God has elevated you for such a time as this. Speak with boldness. Share your testimony. Declare the goodness of the Lord in the land of the living. For Revelation 12:11 says, "They overcame Him by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of their testimony." Your story carries power. Your testimony carries anointing. When you speak, chains will break, lives will be restored, and faith will rise in those who hear. And let me reassure you, God is not done. This open door is only one of many. This manifestation is only the beginning of a greater wave of favor and breakthrough. Ephesians 3:20 reminds us, "Now to Him who is able to do immeasurably more than all we ask or imagine, according to His power that is at work within us." Beloved, if this blessing amazes you, prepare your heart, for God has more. The struggles of the past season prepared you for this. The pruning, the delays, the rejections, and the silent tests were not in vain. They were the foundation for what is now being built. And what God builds, no storm can destroy. What He establishes, no enemy can dismantle. Beloved, can I speak this over you prophetically? You are stepping into a season where your enemies will be confused. They will wonder how you survived, how you advanced, how you thrived. But you will know it was not by might, not by power, but by the Spirit of the Lord. You are stepping into a season where doors will swing wide at the sound of your name, not because of who you are, but because of the God who sent you. You are stepping into a season where everything that was stolen will be restored, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. Yes, beloved, this is your moment. You have been faithful with little, and now God is trusting you with much. You have been hidden, but now God is revealing you. You have been tested in silence, and now God is honoring you in public. But even as the blessings pour in, never lose sight of the greatest blessing of all, His presence. For what good is an open door without the one who opens it? What good is manifestation without the manifester Himself? Beloved, treasure His presence above everything else. Because if you have Him, you have everything, so let your life be an altar. Let your success be worship. Let your testimony be praise. And let every step you take point back to the one who carried you through. Beloved, hear this as the final seal of this message: the door God has opened for you cannot be shut. The favor He has released cannot be revoked. The promise he has fulfilled cannot be reversed. Walk boldly, steward wisely, and live faithfully. For heaven has decreed it, and it shall surely come to pass. Lift your hands and declare, Lord, I receive it. I walk through the open door. I embrace the transformation. I rejoice in the manifestation. And I dedicate it all back to you. Beloved, it is done. Heaven has spoken. Now, go forth and live as the chosen one you are, for the world is about to witness the glory of God revealed through your life.